Dr. Israetel here, Juggernaut Training Systems, having a little chat with Jeremy Hoornstra, one of the all-time greats in the bench press, who has benched 661 at 242, which I think is the greatest raw coefficient of the bench of all time, and has benched a lifetime PR of 275, weighing only about 246 pounds at the time, which I think we could all agree is very impressive. So, Jeremy, obviously your reputation precedes you, and as humble of a guy as you are in real life, you are already legendary in the bench press, so we'll have some questions for you pertaining to powerlifting. The first one is if you could give us a little bit of insight into your sporting background before you ever picked up a weight. What did young Jeremy do in sports? I'm sure it was legendary.
Oh, it was legendary. I started off in baseball and soccer because I was told that football was too dangerous and not to lift weights. My pediatrician actually told me when I was 9 years old, don't ever lift anything heavy because you have hernia. And that was the best advice I've ever gotten in my entire life, is don't lift anything heavy.
That's good advice.
It is, advice. Yeah. So I stuck with it. But I started in that, and then I actually got on the swim team and started racing mountain bikes. So just in training for that, I started doing triathlons. And yeah, so it's me, the triathlon.
You're built for triathlon now.
Very much so. Yeah. And actually, the last meet I did, I was in the elevator going down the weigh-ins, and I guess there was a swim competition going on at the same venue or something. And somebody said, "Are you competing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm competing." And he said, "Oh, swim team?" I said, "Of course." He's like, "What events?" It's 200 IM and 100 fly. He said, "Good luck." So I don't know how many 260-pound swimmers they have, but I'm pretty sure they're not on the top of the top 10.
That's awesome.
But after triathlons and stuff, I got into football because I was old enough to tell my mom that I wanted to, and didn't have to listen to her anymore. I always listen to my mom, but I did, just not then. But after that, I just started training harder and harder and harder, just for
football.
For football, yeah. And got on the weightlifting team in high school, and that's pretty much what started.
Very cool. And then, so you got started in powerlifting by joining the high school weightlifting team.
Pretty much. I lifted a little bit with my dad. He's a fireman, and I lifted at the fire station with him just in middle school, just kind of learning the techniques. And because I mean, we all watch, like, I guess I was He-Man. That was my. I wanted to be like He-Man, and so I didn't want to be the little chunky kid, I guess.
So you were a little chunky
kid. A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But until I started swimming, then I leaned up, obviously, with the far end of the other spectrum of that. But yeah, I mean, typical kid sports: baseball, soccer, nothing big.
What were some of your numbers in high school powerlifting?
I know I was benching over 400. It's kind of, I know that I was a lot lighter. I know I went to state 3 years, but I mean they always change, like the weight classes and the school division and stuff. So all my records are no longer at my school, which is awesome. But I want to say I was 183, and I think I hit like 420. But I can't remember. That was like 2 years ago.
Just for my own curiosity, because I know clean and jerk is the other.
Clean and jerk was not my forte.
That they do in Florida.
Yeah. I was definitely catching up on my clean and jerk with my bench.
Yeah.
Kind of closing that gap in. Gosh, I can't even remember. I want to say made 270, 300, something like that. But I think I trained clean and jerk about a month or two before the meets.
Yeah.
And I was really good at it.
That's awesome. How long have you been competing in powerlifting formally?
Formally, well, I kind of led into it in college at FSU. I was bodybuilding and in training for bodybuilding. I was like 3 or 4 weeks out of a show, and I was warming up, and I wasn't going too heavy, but I ended up going up to like 550 or 560 and hit just like a triple. And somebody who competed in powerlifting was like blown away. He's like, "Dude, you've got to do a show." So I finished the bodybuilding show, and then I trained with him for powerlifting. He told me like all the rules. I had no idea, and I think like a couple months after that, we competed.
And what did you hit?
I want to say I just barely missed 600. I want to say it was like 585 or something, 584.
Not bad for a first meet.
my deadlift was, I don't even remember it. I probably don't even want to say it. But I remember pulling, and it didn't move off the ground, so I just let go, and I didn't realize that counted as a lift. I'm like, oh, okay. I was just completely newbie to it, had no idea.
As far as training is concerned, what principles do you think are indispensable to training? What things does every powerlifter or bench presser have to do? Just 2 or 3.
There's so many. My big thing is you have to listen to your body. And I know everybody says that, but hardly anybody does. Because as hard as it is to leave, especially if you drove like 2 hours to train with a bunch of guys that are all prepped, and you felt something shift, as hard as it is to stop there, it's even harder to hurt yourself and have to take the next 2 or 3 months off. So I always, if I feel anything, if my body says stop, I stop. You have to eat right, and everybody's diet is different. Everybody believes a different thing. If you're not getting the calories, you're not getting the protein, you're not getting the sleep, everything, you're not going to get stronger.
So recovery, sleep goes into that.
Sleep, everything. You have to go heavy. You can't.
What's your idea of heavy?
My idea of heavy changes, especially as I'm approaching a meet. But you have to go, whether you're doing your reps or doing like a heavy double or even like a quick single or something, it has to be a very, very, very hard strain to finish the set. Like, you had no more in you.
So just going in there and doing tons of sets, kind of all really sub-maximal, you don't think is a big benefit?
No, because I mean, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're just kind of like half-assing it, and you're going to go through and just, I mean, there's different types of training. Obviously, you're going to have to push it different in bodybuilding and even powerlifting. But if you're not doing it towards the powerlifting and going hard and heavy and constantly trying to go heavier and heavier, then you're not going to get stronger.
Interesting. You mentioned diet. What's your diet like normally? And does it change, or how does it change if you come up closer to a competition? Just for powerlifting.
For powerlifting. Well, I'm vegetarian, so it's, well, I'm not really.
That was a joke, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not.
That'll end up on YouTube.
Jeremy's a vegetarian. I try to eat a solid pound of red meat a day.
Okay.
And the whole thing changes when I'm trying to, like, if I'm cutting for a show or something.
Okay.
But I try to get like a solid pound of red meat, and then I try to get a good solid 200 to 300 carbs. So like I eat clean, especially for a powerlifter, 95% of the time. So I'm yams, brown rice, pasta, whole wheat, all that kind of stuff.
What's the advantage of eating like that, as opposed to just kind of eating whatever?
I mean, it's easier to keep track. It's healthier for you. I know exactly what I'm eating. Like if I buy something that's processed and made, I don't know what they put in it. If I'm cooking an egg, I know that I'm eating an egg. I mean, there's nothing that they added to it. So I don't know. I think it's just healthier knowing like what you're eating completely. I mean, your body's a machine. It's gonna run how you feed it.
American powerlifting and powerlifting all over the globe has taken kind of a different direction, especially in the last 3 or 4 years with kind of the Raw Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that direction? Where do you think powerlifting is going? Do you like where it's going?
Well, I know that everybody has their own opinion, their own specialty, and you're never gonna convince a Republican to be a Democrat or somebody who lifts gear to lift raw hardly. But it's kind of hard to say, because I think honestly that the gear, I mean, I see the advantage to it and everything. I see the difficulty, but I don't think that people really realize that outside of powerlifting, outside of the sport completely, if they see somebody lifting with a shirt and don't understand it, it's going to be hard to fathom versus just them going to a gym and lifting raw, because that's what they know. If they see somebody lift like 1,200 pounds, but then they take the shirt off and hit 500, they're going to be like, well, what the heck? So I see more of a shift to gear, just because the gear is getting so thick and so strong, and the science behind it is just advanced so much to where it's gone from the support to the, I mean, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it seems like so mind-blowing that I think people want to I don't know, think of like the true strength and true power where like everybody actually started, like when they were teenagers lifting in the gym and didn't know anything, just sit down on the bench and lifted. Just like true strength like that. And if the internet bashing and everything can step aside, I think the powerlifting will actually grow and hopefully in a good direction.
Very cool. So you tend to be on the approval side of the recent sort of explosion of raw lifting.
Yeah, I like it. And I mean, I see that everybody gear lifters like it and raw lifters like that. I think the only thing I did, like, I think I was lifting with somebody at the Arnold or Olympia, something like a demo, and I went up to like, I think it's 635 for a close grip double, and they put 405 on and did a double, barely put the shirt on, and then hit like 705, and everybody's like, oh, he's stronger than him, and I was like, whatever.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know, I think Stan Bird actually said the best analogy was like a pole vaulter saying the same numbers as a high jumper. Well, I mean, it's two completely different things. Yes, there's technique, yes, there's a height, and yes, you're falling. But you have to say, if I bench 1,300 pounds in a shirt.
Sure.
But
that makes sense. In training that you see people engage in, I'm sure you lift in a commercial gym at least occasionally. And do you lift in a commercial gym?
I used to.
Okay, so you've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But just in general, things on the internet, people you've helped. What are the couple of 2 or 3 common mistakes in powerlifting and bench press training?
I think one of the mistakes is people don't take the time to learn the form, because with anything there's form. You can just say like bench, you just lay down and bring the bar down and touch your chest and push it up, but I mean there's so much more to it than that. I think that's actually like a big thing on CrossFit right now, is that people don't take the time to actually learn the technique and the form and like what's actually good lifting and bad lifting, and they just try to go heavy as fast as they can, and it's just so bad for you. They're not balanced, and that's just when people get injured.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest mistake.
Okay.
Really.
Any others you can think of?
Um,
People train too much, too little? What do you think?
yeah, I mean, I don't know, and everybody's gonna have an opinion on that, but
Well, we want your opinion.
I think my opinion is you grow when you're sleeping at home, resting with the right diet, if you have trained hard. You don't grow in the gym, so to go in the gym 3 times a day, 7 days a week is ridiculous to me.
Okay.
But, I mean, to each their own.
Sure. You are kind of notorious for benching with a pretty rare close grip.
Mm-hmm.
Justify yourself to the audience. I'm just kidding. What do you think? Why do you bench like that? Would you recommend it to others? And any commentary on that note?
Like I said, with my swimming background, I was a butterflyer. So the hand motion of the arm going back, my triceps developed pretty early. When I was taught to lift in, I guess, 9th grade, by the big, huge seniors that were 18 years old.
They were gigantic.
Oh man, it was ridiculous. They said thumb length from the interneural, and that's where you are. Luckily for me, that's where every muscle engages at the right time. So I'm using like my rear delts, my lats, my chest, my tris, everything all together. There's very little stress on your shoulders. It's just where my powerful movement, that groove, happens to lie. I mean, I still get told by high schoolers like, yeah, you'll bench more if you widen, but why? So I can use just more chest and less of everything else.
Sure.
So I mean, I know it's per body type, but
Did you say you're told by high schoolers?
Yep.
They are wise.
Yes.
High schoolers. Excellent.
they're like little Buddhas.
Little Buddhists, yes. Little training experts.
Yeah.
On that note, do you train by yourself, or do you have a coach or a trainer that oversees your
I
program?
have a coach, Josh Bryant. He is in Texas.
The Josh Bryant.
The Josh Bryant. JoshStreet.com. Yeah, he trains me. I met him. Oh gosh, I think I competed with him back in 2006. Him and Eddie come picked me up from the airport and lifted, I think, the New England record breakers or something. But so I've known him since then. But like when he started coaching and stuff, I got in contact with him, and my workouts had stalled out. I'd been injured, and I think I popped my bicep tendon. I was getting tendonitis, and it was like I would go in the gym and just be like, I guess I'll bench and I'll just go as heavy as I can, and then I'll just stop there and just mess around. But just having the structure of like, do these and film it, and I'm gonna watch it, and knowing not only is he gonna watch it, but he's gonna critique it. Like I lifted better because like for a while I was lifting by myself.
So what do you think? So I guess we kind of already know, but what do you think about training with a plan versus training entirely by feel?
I used to. I mean, I say I didn't have a plan, but I kind of did. Like there were certain. I would play it by ear, but there was certain exercises that like I wanted to hit. Because I mean, like shoulder day, you're gonna go in, you're gonna hit the military press, and the front delts, and the rear delts, and the laterals, and then shrugs or something like that. And I would just kind of like maybe throw in this also, but knowing like, man, I gotta like finish this huge workout. It's I don't know. It feels more structured. Like okay, like I need to make sure that I focus on this, but then also after that, like I still have another heavy set. So it's just I don't know. It's better for me not only knowing that it's structured, but like I said, knowing that he's gonna watch it. And if I do like crabbies, you're like, dude, like what the crap was that? Like, come on. So
very related. Do you have tips for people who are working with online coaches as to how those people can benefit more from being coached online? What can they do on their part to be more coachable?
To be more coachable, honestly, I don't care what level you're at, you can always learn something from somebody. Even if they're a high schooler that's telling you to widen your grip.
You just learn not to do
Oh,
it.
yeah. There's, I mean, like I said, you can't not learn something from somebody. But be open to it, and not only be open to it, like be willing to change. Because when I started with him, he nailed it, and there was actually one or two I didn't know. He's like, you need to work on this, this, and this. So I was like, okay, I see those, but this, whatever. But I did, and like he blasted all my weaknesses to where they're no longer weaknesses; they're like my strengths. So it's just like that constant, like, what is weak now, and like constantly just adapt and be open to change because like not everybody's going to react the same way. But if it doesn't work, I mean, okay, we'll try this, and I mean that's what got me the farthest.
Yeah. If you had a time machine,
Mm-hmm.
you could go back to giving the young you advice on lifting, possibly on life, what would you say?
Let's see. First, I would probably put money on Google.
Well, would.
Yeah. And I would probably. It's kind of hard to say because I started in bodybuilding and I didn't really go too far with it. I think I got qualified for nationals, but I mean, I ended up going in the powerlifting route, and I would say like maybe like don't do that and go right into powerlifting, but I mean everything kind of happens for a reason. So like in bodybuilding, I was training very structured like a bodybuilder. Monday was chest, Tuesday was back, so it was very balanced and very proportional. And it's kind of hard like to say like if I went to powerlifting, would I be that balanced? And like
You
could
put on a ton of
injuries,
muscle, right?
yeah. So I mean I don't know, like I could say like don't dehydrate and go heavy an hour later and tear your bicep in 2006.
It's the exact setting of a
Right.
time machine, right?
Yeah, I could throw that right there.
Right on. Last question for today.
Okay.
You are already world class, and that's a very big understatement. You're one of the greatest.
Well, thank you.
Well, I didn't make you one of the greatest.
Yeah.
But, why do you want to get stronger? I mean, from this perspective, somebody could walk in and watch you bench. The bar literally bends to an absurd degree.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting unbelievable strain on your body. Why further? Why stronger?
I actually get, believe it or not, asked that a lot. It's kind of hard actually with most of the competitions I do, especially if they're smaller, because like second place is like 200, 300 pounds behind me. But I'm not really competing with them. I'm competing with me, because like I know going into like a small meet, I'm not going to be like pushed by anybody. So I'm trying to break my number, and I set a number, and I want to hit that. And when I do, I set a new one. And if you're not constantly trying to be better, then you're getting worse, in my opinion. So I mean the pound for pound thing is cool, but I don't want to be like Jeremy Hoornstra, the best pound for pound bencher. I want to be Jeremy Hoornstra, the best bencher. So I don't know. I like I said, like if you're not trying to get better, then you're not going to. So I constantly try that. Plus, I mean, like my family, like they're pushing me, and I want my son like to be all proud, and he's watching my dad benches the most in the world, and then he'll have like Kirilla's son say no. I was like, crap. I don't think he was a son, but one day. So I gotta get up there. I want the highest bench ever. So that's the goal.
Well, Jeremy, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
A pleasure. That's all we have for now, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later.